All right, hey guys, this is my 2016 Denali. It's the HD 2500, so it's the diesel version. Today I'm going to go over changing a couple of batteries. I swear GMC tried to make it as difficult as possible and give some money to the dealerships. I was quoted from the dealer, I was quoted for 2 batteries, about $500 installed. Costco had the battery that I needed for 114 each. So by doing this, I saved about half of the money, but I'm not sure if it was worth it. So let's go over a couple things. So you've got 2 batteries. You've got one that this is in the driver's side. That's where one is located. Here's your fuse box tracking over here. You've got the second one, which is tucked back here. This one was more difficult to do. So maybe do what I did. Do the driver's side one first. I'm not going to show you actually changing the battery, but I'm going to show you what I learned because it took me about 2 hours without having any experience. So you'll see these crossbars here, this one and this one. What you need to do is you need to loosen these 2 nuts here. There is nothing that you need to worry about on the back end. It's there's nothing that's going to drop out. So just loosen those all the way up and out. And then what I did is I just swung this first one, swung it over here towards the engine, giving me this clearance here that I needed. And then I swung this one right here. I left that nut intact, taking this one off, swung it out towards the engine this way. Because what you want to do, obviously, is make sure you have a good clearance here. After doing it, not absolutely sure you need to do this, but I did that anyway. So the big trick here on this one, nothing too difficult other than down low. I was trying to light down there. This is towards the radiator. You can see what you need to get to with a socket, not a deep socket, but with an extension on it. And that you need to loosen counterclockwise. I think it might thread out, so don't go too far. But basically, as you loosen that, it's going to allow you to be able to get the clearance you need for the battery to pull out. So again, on this one, you're simply going to take this guy off, swing it over. You're going to remove your 2 terminals on top. Pretty simple there. And pull that out. It was a little bit of a bear to get the battery out just based on the fact that OEM doesn't come with a handle. This one I got from Costco has a handle here, so I think that the removal of that's going to be a lot easier next time. But hopefully I don't have it next time. So this is the one that was the biggest bugger over here. So I'm just going to show you a couple things so that you're prepared for this guy. So right here, this is basically a cover for your positive. You just need to come to the fender side and pull right there. You can see the arrow. Just go all the way to the bottom, pull that out, and then that gives you clearance. This guy, basically this is covering a bunch of kind of a junction. And so when you pull this off, just pull it off here. Just kind of, you're going to start here on this side with this one, go to this one, pull. This guy's got to be removed. I should have reviewed that first. So this guy's got to be swung out of, actually taken completely off. You don't need to worry about this one. It's not in play, but this guy's got to be completely taken off. On the 2016, you've got this that's easy enough. So just remove this guy again, just like the one over on the other side. Just unthread it all the way. It'll come out. There's nothing that's going to drop out on the bottom. And then you can see this other member here that you need to remove this threading all the way out. Unfortunately, that creates a big problem because the way this is designed, this kind of locks over this bottom one, and you cannot just swing it like I did before. First of all, you've got this thing in conflict, but also even if you could lift it over, take this off, you can't swing it because you can't get rid of this thing underneath that's going down. So that makes this probably the most difficult part of this whole process. Underneath here, I don't know why on my truck it doesn't have this on the other side, but it does on this side. It's a cover that goes over those bolts. I ended up wedging a tool underneath here to give me some clearance with some needle nose pliers. I was able to loosen that. And then again, that once you again pry that up, I pried it up, put a tool in there to give me some clearance, and then use needle nose going counterclockwise, and was able to then disconnect this entirely. So again, you've got one bolt under here, you've got one here and one here. Then you can remove this entirely, get that out of the way. So then again, we're back to here. You're going to want to disconnect here and here. The challenge again is underneath here, and I just don't want to take the time because the cover's already back on there. When you pull this off, you're going to see a series of 4 or 5 bolts that are covering, that are connecting like a junction. So there's a bunch of wires coming in that are bolted on there. You do not need to remove those. Those can stay totally down. What you do want to do is just remove your negative and your positive. Over here, there's a junction cable. So remove that. And the reason being is if you have done what I did, which is I replaced that one entirely, then went over here, you do have, these are in series, so this is still considered hot, even though if you disconnect this battery, so be careful not to cross positive or negative, be mindful of touching metal and things like that, because I was getting some sparking, which tells me that it's still connected over to the other battery and still hot. So just be cautious like you would with any battery. But again, when you pull this off, you're just gonna pull the cover off. It is going to be intact, and the only way that you can get rid of this is after you've taken the little junction cable, the positive, taken this negative off, come down here, reach down here, and you can pull down below. You can pull along the side. You just have to reach down there, and basically you're going to come under and pull it towards you, and that'll free this up to be able to be kind of out of the way. It's still very tight, even with this bar out. This is still kind of in play. It's all connected to your truck accessories, not to your battery anymore, and it's kind of swung out of the way. You're going to pivot it up. Then you can get your old battery out and then put your new one in. And again, love the fact that these new ones from Costco have this handle. That really helped me get that in and out. So sorry for not showing you all the gory details. It was a huge pain in the butt. I think the biggest thing I learned is you got to get those crossbars out of the way. This one was the biggest bugger, was because you had to lift this up. So that's kind of a lesson learned. And then I disconnected way too much in here. I didn't need to disconnect as much as I did. So that's why I decided to make this video, is leave everything intact with the exception of that little positive jumper and this negative. Leave all the other ones threaded down. Just pull it up, pull it out of the way with the spar out of the way. You should have the clearance you need to be able to tightly get that in there. Then, of course, you need to put your positive back on, your negative back on. Push this guy back down. Oh, the other thing is, just like on the other battery, you've got a threaded, you've got a nut way down below that you've got to get to be able to loosen that battery. So just like on the other one, it's the same motion. Just get a extension on your socket, get down there and loosen that. Don't loosen it all the way to where it could maybe fall out of play. Just loosen it enough to where your battery comes loose, and then you're obviously going to want to have to wedge that under there and tighten it back up. Make sure it's tight before you connect everything else, just so you don't have to worry about your battery moving around should you be in a collision or four-wheel. So, all right, well, that's it. Sorry for the lengthy description. Hopefully that at least answers some questions you might have and saves you a couple $100. Take care.